People often believe that anxiety means they are broken. They see it as evidence that something inside them has failed, that they are fragile, flawed, perhaps even doomed. They compare themselves to others who appear calm and in control, and conclude that they alone are defective. But this is a deep misunderstanding, and it's one that keeps people trapped in shame and isolation. Anxiety is not proof of weakness. Anxiety is what happens when the structure that holds your world together begins to crack. Everything you do is built on a network of goals, expectations, and routines. You wake up because you intend to get to work. You go to work because you intend to keep your job. You keep your job because you hope to build a stable life. These layers of intention stack on top of one another, forming a kind of psychological scaffolding. And most of the time, you don't even notice that scaffolding. It's invisible, like the framework of a building hidden behind the walls. But it's there, holding your sense of order in place. When anxiety strikes, what has actually happened is that part of that scaffolding has collapsed. The link between what you do and why you do it has been severed. The future you were aiming at dissolves into fog, and your nervous system interprets that as danger. It reacts as if you were walking confidently across solid ground and suddenly the floor gave way beneath you. It floods your body with adrenaline, accelerates your heart, sharpens your senses, and screams, "Stop, be careful, something is wrong." This is why anxiety feels like chaos. Your brain evolved to map reality and predict what will happen next. It does this so it can keep you safe, because survival depends on accurate predictions. If your map says there's solid ground ahead, and you step forward and fall into emptiness, that's a serious error. So when the map stops matching the territory, your whole system panics. Anxiety is your mind's alarm system declaring the world you believed you were in is no longer here. And that makes sense. Imagine you are in a forest and your map shows a clear path home, but when you arrive at the spot, the path has vanished and the landmarks are gone. Every step from that moment forward becomes uncertain, and uncertainty is interpreted by your nervous system as threat. That is what anxiety really is. The awareness that you are surrounded by the unknown. It is not weakness. It is not failure. It is the signal that the order you relied upon has dissolved back into chaos. This is also why anxiety can feel like death, because in a very real way, the person you were has died. The old assumptions, the old routines, the old vision of who you would become, they are gone. And your psyche is mourning that loss even if you don't consciously realize it. You are not just afraid of the future, you are grieving the death of the past. That is why anxiety is so heavy. It is both fear and grief at once. Yet hidden inside that collapse is something profound. Anxiety is not just an end, it is also a beginning. It is the threshold between the old world and the possibility of a new one. The moment your familiar order fails is the same moment that transformation becomes possible. The self that could survive only inside that old structure is dying, but a new self is waiting to be born, one that can navigate this unfamiliar territory. This is why, across every culture and every era, humans have told the same story. It is the oldest story we know. A hero lives in a safe village. One day, the walls of the village are breached. Chaos floods in. The hero is called to leave the familiar world, to venture into the unknown, to face the dragon. If the hero refuses the call, the village collapses. But if the hero faces the chaos, wrestles with it, and extracts something of value, gold, wisdom, fire, then he returns and rebuilds the village stronger than before. This is not just a myth. It is the pattern of psychological renewal itself. Anxiety is the call to adventure. It is the knock on the door saying your old world is gone, and if you want to live, you must build a new one. That is why the first thing you must do when anxiety strikes is to stop running from it. You must turn and face it. You must say, yes, chaos has come, and I will not hide. But how? How do you face something so enormous? You start with the smallest thing you can actually control. That might be as simple as cleaning your room. People often laugh at that advice as if it is trivial, but it is not trivial. It is symbolic. It is a declaration. I will bring order to at least one corner of the world. I will not let everything slide into entropy. And when you do that, something begins to shift. You feel a spark of strength. The fog recedes. just enough for you to see the next step. Then you clean your desk. Then you plan your day. Then you keep a promise to yourself. Each of these small victories is like laying a single stone in the foundation of a new life. And as you do this, your brain rewards you. It gives you dopamine, the chemical of motivation. It says, yes, this is the way. It starts to rebuild your map of the world. Slowly, piece by piece, chaos becomes order again. But there is something even more important. These small acts are not just about reducing fear, they are about building meaning. Because the opposite of anxiety is not calmness. The opposite of anxiety is purpose. If your life has no direction, you will be crushed by the weight of suffering. But if you aim at something meaningful, you can endure almost anything. This is why people can survive incredible hardship if they believe it matters, and why even comfortable lives can feel unbearable if they are empty. Meaning does not come from pleasure. It does not come from comfort or ease. It comes from responsibility. It comes from voluntarily taking on the heaviest load you can carry. This is the paradox. The more responsibility you accept, the more resilient you become. When you decide that you will hold up your corner of the world, you stop seeing yourself as a helpless victim of chaos. You become a builder of order. And responsibility begins with honesty. You must tell the truth first to yourself, then to others. You must look clearly at the mess around you and admit what you have neglected. You must stop pretending it is someone else's job to fix your life. Because as long as you lie to yourself, you cannot build anything stable. Lies are sand. Truth is stone. So you start telling the truth. You face the chaos. You pick up the first thing that is obviously broken and you repair it. Maybe it is your schedule. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is your relationships. It doesn't matter where you begin, only that you begin. Because each act of repair sends a signal to your psyche. I am not powerless. I am not a victim. I can make things better. And once you start making things better, you begin to see something extraordinary. The world is full of potential. It is not just a place where things happen to you, it is a place you can shape. You are not merely a passenger on the train of life. You are also part of the engine. This realization is the birth of hope. Hope is not naive optimism. Hope is earned. Hope is the knowledge that even if the world collapses again, you can rebuild it because you have done it before. And once you have that, anxiety loses its power over you. It can still roar, but it cannot paralyze you because you know that you are capable of facing chaos and turning it into order. This is the path out of anxiety. Not medication alone, though that can help. Not distraction, not denial, not comfort. The path out is through the chaos, through the suffering, through the fire. And on the other side, if you persist, you find something far greater than calmness. You find meaning. Meaning will not make life easy. Life will still be hard, but it will be worth it. Because when your life has meaning, suffering becomes sacrifice, and sacrifice transforms pain into strength. This is the deepest truth our ancestors discovered, and the reason they built stories, rituals, and cultures around it. They knew that chaos is always at the door. The only defense is to become someone who can hold it back. You can be that person. You can become the one who stands firm when the storm comes, but you must choose it. You must decide that you will no longer live as a passive creature blown around by circumstances. You will become a builder, a warrior, a guardian of order, and you will do it not for comfort or applause, but because it is the only thing that makes life worth living. Anxiety is not the enemy. Anxiety is the signal that your old self is dying and a stronger self is waiting to be born. Do not run from that death. Walk through it. Let the false parts of you burn away. Let the chaos strip you down to what is real, and then, brick by brick, rebuild yourself into someone who can carry meaning. Because if you can carry meaning, you can carry anything. You can stand in the wreckage of your old life and start again. You can face the dragon and return with gold. You can walk through hell and come back with fire. So stand up, straighten your back, set your aim, Pick up the heaviest thing you can bear and take the first step. The path will be hard, it will be painful, but it will be worth it, because at the end of it, you will not just have less anxiety, you will have something far greater. You will have become someone who can build order out of chaos, someone who can carry the weight of existence, someone who can look the suffering of the world in the eye and still say, yes, life is worth it. And that is what it means to be truly alive.